Microphone check 1, 2. What you gonna do after 3? It's your girl, Sheena Speaks. Your friend, your coach, your wing girl. Oh, wait a minute, my mic wasn't up. Hopefully y'all heard me. Welcome to the After 3 podcast, where we drop 3 and you make moves. And I am super excited to announce that season 0 of the After 3 podcast has been completed. And right now, I just want to talk to y'all. I want to do a little bit of reflection, at the end of the year. And even on my birthday month, I get real reflective. And I just thought it might be cool to just share with all of you a little bit of reflection of what season 0 has taught me. So for those of you who are just making it here, you don't know what season 0 is all about. Season 0 was me doing the podcast anyway. Doing the podcast without the bells and whistles, the intro and outro music. No guests, no lights, no whatever makes a good podcast. I decided to get a mic and hit record and be messy on the mic. And messy meaning you'll hear the background noise, like I just heard my neighbors upstairs. My son is in his room playing the game, so you might hear some of that. But at the end of the day, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I'll talk a little bit about that as I share what my reflections are with season 0 of the After 3 podcast. So the podcast is season 0 is finished. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from season 0. I learned so much that I'm going to continue to apply some of these concepts to my life. But I'm going to just share 3 with you. 3 is the number. Just going to give y'all 3 of these tips. Give you these tips how I got them. But it's really personal today because I'm sharing with you what I really learned while I was implementing the podcast. So the first thing that I want to share is owning my authentic voice. If you don't know the backstory, about a year and a half ago, well, let me back it up a little bit. I spent my entire career climbing the corporate ladder. Not because of ego, not because I wanted a title. I climbed the ladder because I wanted to be in the big rooms where the big decisions are being made, so I could be the one asking the question, but what about the people? How are we going to get the people what they need to do, what we need this vision to do? How are we going to organize the people, develop the people, promote the people, whatever it is that we need the people to do to get to that bottom line? How are we going to make that happen? So I spent my entire career climbing the corporate ladder only to get to the top and hate it. And about a year and a half ago, I decided to get off that ladder. I jumped off the ladder and launched my business, Trifecta Strategies, full time. And it's been a whirlwind, but it's been amazing. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. So, being of the age that I am, many people will know that there were a lot of us that we had to code switch. Many times, I was either the youngest in the room, I was the only black person in the room, and always usually only black woman in the room. So in order to advance, I had to play the game. I had to code switch. And years of code switching just became how I spoke. So when I jumped off that corporate ladder, I didn't want anything to do with corporate. I'm like, I am going to be who I am and speak how I speak. But what I've learned is it's so integrated into how I speak that it didn't go away, right? It's a learned behavior. But what I learned about my voice, many people will tell you they hate the sound of their voice. And I'm one of them. Can't stand it. But doing a podcast, I'm like, listen, you got to play that back and you got to listen to it. You got to listen to yourself. So one of the things that I've learned by listening to myself, some things I know and some things that I'm like, oh, it made me more aware. First and foremost, you can hear where I go. I like ebb and flow between professional and the Bronx. And it's interesting because it usually happens to me when I'm in person. If I'm facilitating a session or a meeting, people who don't know me, after a while they'll raise their hand or they'll come up to me at the end and they'll say, where you from? I'll be like, New York. Oh, that Brooklyn, no. I don't know what it is, but people always think I'm from Brooklyn. No, from the Bronx. Because when I get excited, or when I get upset, or when I get passionate, you hear the Bronx. So what I've learned about my voice doing this podcast is I started off like, I don't want to say no corporate words. I don't want to sound corporate. I don't want to do any of that. I'm just going to speak how I speak. But that's how I speak now. And instead of trying to rip off the corporate speak or the professional speak or whatever, however you want to call it, the code switching and all of that, I'm keeping it as my range and I'm owning it. So when you hear me speak, you'll hear corporate or you'll hear what people quote unquote call professional. But then there'll be times you'll hear the Bronx. And it sounds crazy to me when I listen back to myself. I'm like, you sound crazy. First you start off like, okay. And then you'll hear all types of ebonics. And if you listen to my first episode, that's when I tell you I'm highly educated. I'm a professional. But ebonics is my language. And you hear it. So I'm just going to own it. That's my range. I'm going to call it range. And I remember I sent out a survey to friends and family called 3 Words. And you know what? I advise you all to do that. If you're interested in how people see you, even people who you think or they think they know you well, 3 words. What are 3 words to describe me? But within that survey, I had asked them, who did they think my audience was? And this was years ago. And basically, every person that filled out the survey said everybody. So when I take that survey and what I hear in my own voice, I call that range. I could talk to whoever. You could be the gang member on the street or the CEO in the executive office. I can talk to you. I can relate to you. I can speak your language. So instead of trying to shy away from that professional corporate side, I'm owning it. And I'm letting people know. Sometimes you'll hear it and sometimes you won't. And it's just who I am and it's how I speak. So that's what the podcast has taught me about my authentic voice. Own your voice. Own your range and don't let nobody, not one person, make you feel bad about that. That is a decision that I'm making. And what's interesting is no one has made me feel bad about it. I was the one trying to disown it. So that's really for me. Own your voice and speak your truth and talk your talk. The second thing that really helped me get through the podcast for season 0 was feedback that I've received a long time ago. a participant in a 360 feedback process, and one of my colleagues had wrote, she would be a beast if she could learn to deliver quickly and continuously improve. Now, I know that comes from a project management principle, but that feedback spoke to me, and I didn't apply it until years, many years later. Like, I'm talking about right now. I'm just now applying that. Because, again, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I did not want to start this podcast until I had all my ducks in a row, all the bells and whistles. But my new slogan, y'all heard me say it if you listen to any of the other podcasts, I am waiting for the day when I hear you say, I remember when you were just audio and now you are live in the studio. Just audio was me practicing, deliver quickly, and continuously improve. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm going to level up just a little bit for season 1 in a second. But perfection is the enemy of progress. And I can't give credit to who said that quote. I can't recall it. It just came to me. But it really is. Season 0 was the anti-perfectionist play. And it got me through. Here we are, 12 episodes in of me. Just give me the mic, hit record, let's go. We'll fix it up later. Because at the end of the day, what I bring to the table, it's not about the bells and whistles. It's about giving you tips that help me. It's about helping people be better and do better. That's the business that I'm in. Helping people learn and grow. Helping people get what they want out of life and to be more effective with themselves and each other. So yes, Messy on the mic. And I know people, when they saw Messy on the mic, they thought it was, I'm going to be gossiping and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. No, that's not what I meant. I just meant, not like right now, a plane is going by. You might hear that. Or are you going to say, I'm never listening to her again because there's a plane in the back? No. But over time, I'm going to learn what can I do to soundproof my at-home studio. So deliver quickly and continuously improve. And I'm applying that to other areas of my life. Now, listen, let me just give you a little side note. That don't mean everything. There are truly some things that you bet not releasing until it's polished. You bet not release it until all the ducks are in a row. I'm no dummy. But for the things that it's like low risk, may not even matter. Especially when you're a perfectionist. When you're a perfectionist, and I talk a lot about perfectionism with my clients. I have a lot of like high functioning, high intelligent powerhouse people. And I tell them all the time, your good enough is still top notch. You're good enough. There were times, and I think I spoke about this on another podcast, there are times where I just pull some stuff together and people were blown away. And I'm like, if they only knew. If they only knew. Not everything deserves your 100%. You could give 50, 60, 70% and it still be great. So sometimes you just got to get in good enough mode. What was more important? That I had all the bells and whistles, or that I pushed out this podcast that I've been trying to plan and get out there for 3 years, 3 whole years. Deliver quickly, continuously improve. The last thing I want to share that I found super helpful with this podcast is focus. My mind moves really fast. Not only does it move really fast, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. I actually have a graphic for how my mind works. And as I'm speaking, like even right now, as I'm speaking, I have a thought. And as it's coming out of my mouth, I got 10 more thoughts coming. And they're trying to line up to get out of my mouth. And one of the ways that the podcast is structured is give them 3 points. Get in and get out of there. People don't have a lot of time. Attention span is 0. Give them 3 points and get out of there. Yeah, you got 100, but they don't need 100 right now. Save those for later. I have so much to say. One of the reasons why I know for a fact I get frustrated whenever I work within an organization was I have a lot to offer and I want to offer it. And I want to see people win. But what I've experienced is a lot of times people may not be ready for what I have to offer or they don't want it. Either way, I needed more of an outlet because I have so much to give. And this is why, while right now I'm external, I have my own business, but working within a business will just be too constraining for me, too limiting to me. But one of the things that I did learn through this podcast is having some constraint with what I'm offering gave me focus. And that was helpful. And I really learned that just because you got 100, don't mean you give them 100. Just give them 3. Then give them 3 more later. And then give them another 3 later. And then put the rest in a book. That's how I'm dealing with that. And it really did show me that when I constrain myself in that way is when I deliver my best work. So those are the 3 of the things that I really learned from the podcast. And I'm super excited for season 1. Season 1, I think it's going to be fun. I have selected my intro and outro music and I love it. I will be audio and visual. So you get to see my face. And then when I have people who come on to talk to me, I'll be doing interviews. And that's going to be season 1. And then season 2 going to be another level up. And what I love about the approach with the podcast is I force myself to do it anyway. And I'm very happy with just doing it how it came to me and having an opportunity to refine it over time. And I could probably look at my last 2 episodes and be like, ugh, but that's okay. Because I'm not out here trying to be perfect. I'm out here trying to give y'all these tips how I got them. And hopefully they're helping you. So for the 1, 2, 3 people out there who have been riding with me and listening to the podcast, I look forward to giving you more in season 1. Share it with a friend, anyone that you think it would be helpful to. And I'm out. If you want to stay connected, go check us out at trifecta3.com. 3 the number, not the letter. You can get connected. LinkedIn at Trifecta Strategies on Instagram and Facebook. And I appreciate you all so much. This is the end of the year. Great reflection, great learnings that I'm taking into 2026. And I'm really, truly excited. So don't talk about it. Be about it. It's your girl, Sheena Speaks. And I want to wish everyone a happy new year.